Hello and welcome back to our Royal Survivor 45 episodic podcast. I am your host, King, joined by my other host, King's mom.
Hi.
And we're discussing episode 2 of season 45 of Survivor.
Right.
Just going to be going through it, the whole episode in chronological order. And as with every episode that comes after the first one, we start with the fallout from Tribal Council, where last time Hannah basically told everyone, if you don't vote me off, I will quit anyway.
Right.
So they get back to camp. They're all a little stunned of how that went down, even though it was almost more shocking than if someone got blindsided. And there was a little bit of arguing between Sabiyah and Caleb versus Emily because they didn't like her coming after them saying they're a threat because they're so close together.
Right. Yeah.
And so it just leads to some fighting. Sabiyah basically saying, like, I hate her, I want her gone next kind of thing. And Emily basically accepts that it likely would have been her if Hannah didn't quit, and maybe she didn't realize that at Tribal, but like afterwards it just kind of came to her. Which, though she doesn't like that they're so against her for trying to be logical, she also like realizes she's shooting herself in the foot by how she acts towards them.
Yeah, and I think, Caleb comes into that too.
Right, I think, that's like the next day where he even, and he's proving how smart he is by, he even says, it's bad gameplay to just go, oh, nobody likes that person, let's get rid of them. Instead, it's good gameplay if I go to this person, try to mend something, because then they'll be loyal to me and not anybody else.
Right.
Which is what he does. And this isn't just purely strategical. He does want her to kind of see the error of her ways. She gets a little emotional, surprisingly.
Right.
But admits that she doesn't really know how to act around everyone else. And he tells her she's playing too hard, to kind of step back from the game a bit and just try to mingle with people and see
if they know them and
stuff.
Yeah.
Which she does for a while, it seems like. So
yeah, she, after that talk, you can see she's really talking to everyone and being more almost human.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was so negative and just like he said, playing the game too hard too soon.
Yeah.
You know, and not really socializing.
Right. I mean, there's a thing where she tells Brandon she thinks his hair looks great. She'd love to see it, like, not in the weathered elements. She even apologizes to Sabiyah,
Yes.
which Sabiyah says she accepts her apology, but she still doesn't really like her. So,
Right.
So there's still tension, but she does try to get along with everyone. And she says this is like a learning experience for her. So she's, how do you feel about her now? Because last time you were like, ugh. So.
Well, I at first I feel better about her.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Because I think too, it's when you go in there, when you start playing Survivor, you may have an idea of how you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And she is some kind of analyst, I believe, in
real
life.
I think she's a stock analyst or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about that, but it's probably somewhat, I don't know if it's tough or not, but she came off very hard.
And she says she's looking at everything like her job, like everything's numbers, and she's analyzing the numbers when these are people with emotions and you can't analyze them like that.
That's right. So I do like her better. At first, I wasn't sure of the way when she was talking with Brandon and Sabiyah if it was an act.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was. I think Caleb really got through to her and she realized what she was doing wrong, and is trying to fix it. So I do like her better.
I'd like to think the editing would have showed if she was faking or not, because then it would have immediately cut to a confessional of her saying, I got them wrapped around my finger now or something.
Yeah.
So maybe not, but it does seem like she genuinely wants to change, which is nice, because in a lot of seasons where there's that one like nasty player, normally if someone does try to extend that olive branch, they're like, well, this is just how I am and everybody needs to deal with it. And then they get voted out because of it. Yeah. She's at least trying to be a nicer person. So
yeah.
So yeah, they're trying to kind of pick themselves back up after a horrible premiere episode for that tribe. We cut over to Reba, the Red Tribe. They're getting along pretty well. Mm-hmm. Everybody seems happy with each other. Yeah. And specifically, a couple of them start to bond. Drew and Julie, I believe, he's my age. He's 23. and she's like, I take the role as mom of the group. I kind of knew it would happen. And they say they're ready to just almost like go final two with each other because they trust each other. And then they try to pull in both Austin and I believe Dee.
Yes.
And what'd you write down
For
about
a foursome?
What'd you write down about Dee there?
Well, they made a thing about her long big toe.
Yeah.
I mean, it was odd.
She has an abnormally long big toe compared to all her other toes.
But it was funny. You know, everyone was
Yeah.
laughing about it, and she almost has like monkey feet because of it.
I think
she can grab things.
It's to show them getting along. Yeah, we see her like grabbing people's arms. We're like, wow, is that strong? She's like us with her toe strength. So, so they do seem to turn into this this foursome, and Drew gets a little cocky, saying he desperately wants to be in complete control, and with this alliance he can dominate. But he also isn't all like, haha, I'm the greatest about it. He says, I need to resist the urge to get like that, because then it's just gonna bite me in the butt at the end. So at least he's self-aware about it, but you can't blame like a Survivor fan for getting excited for being in a powerful position. It's just how you act towards everyone else and everything.
And I like this foursome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all like quote unquote nice people.
They seem they all seem smart, and they're people I would root for going forward. You know, we also see a little from what is her name? Jemaya.
Yeah.
She is she's trying, I think, even trying to like look for an idol or something. She's got her mind in the game. We don't see much of her, but she does kind of talk a little strategically, like, you know, hey, we're all buddy right now, but we gotta, you know, move along here, and there's still a game to be played and everything. So,
well, yeah, she's definitely being strategic because of the fact that she was trying to figure out those flag symbols.
Right, that too.
Just without anything.
Yeah.
She's just looking at it and trying to make sense of it. And she didn't get anywhere, but which then leads to Austin.
Right, he has the advantage.
Yeah.
And that leads into, I guess we can kind of just go to this, the quote unquote first challenge. Everybody gets a messenger on a boat who says you need to pick one tribe mate to go on an excursion, which has happened in all these newest seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I guess they, some of them like just pick, or they play rock, paper, scissors or something. Brandon on, the Lulu tribe, he just says, I'm gonna go do it. And Emily, and they're all like, cool, go do it. And Emily thinks they're trying to keep me from doing it, because she was even trying to look for an idol, and they were following her around and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
On the red they either pick him or he wins something. Some little trick to get him. He goes, and then our boy Bruce on the Bello tribe, he goes. And just a quick thing about him, he's like, I'm not dad, I'm uncle. He's trying to be the goofy uncle, and he is goofy.
Very.
But he's also very, here's how you should do this, here's what you should do. And Katurah, she's the only one apparently saying everyone else is buying this nice guy act when I see him trying to control. And she's like, it's ridiculous that they don't see it, and she doesn't trust him. So
yeah.
And so he's
a little over the top for me. He's going way overboard for me.
He's trying too hard to be goofy, it seems like. Just be yourself. Because I like regular Bruce. This is like Bruce desperately trying to keep a target off his back. So
and I like if that's your personality, like class clown kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like people like that who just have it. They're funny. He's a little over the top. Like, I don't know if he's trying too hard to be that person, or if that is him on a normal basis.
Yeah.
I don't feel that though from him. He's that funny all the time.
It doesn't seem that genuine. They say he's always making voices and stuff. I think he's trying to make everyone think he's some kind of idiot, so they don't see him as a threat, even though he has been on the island before and all that. It comes back to him being the only returning player, technically.
Yeah.
So, it's a bit over the top. But so the three men go. They go to they're told to introduce themselves and then pick a path to walk.
Right.
And when they do, Drew notes that Bruce barely tells him anything. He just says, "Oh, we're doing good," blah blah blah. He's like, which shows that which Drew claims is bad gameplay, because it shows he has no interest in even trying to work with us. He's like, he didn't even lie or anything, compared to Brandon, who just tells him everything that's going on, every dynamic, all the people, they all hate Emily, that kind of stuff. So
right.
and then you have him in the middle, like kind of gauging this. So I'd like to think that we're seeing so much of Drew that he'll wind up being like an important character in all this, because the more confessionals these people get, it either means they go super early or they're mainstayers and they want you to see their mindset throughout. So, and it seems like he's analyzing a lot of situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they talk a little and then they split up and they're brought to. It's a challenge we've seen before, or at least one part of it, where you have the numbers that you spin on the wheels, and then when they're set to the right code, you can pull like a handle out.
Yeah, but to get those numbers, they have to match tiles.
Right, and it's an advantage challenge. It says you'll be given an advantage if you do this in 3 minutes. And like you said, they have to match tiles, and I believe it's...
And then whatever tiles are left over, those 3 numbers are the numbers you use on that... It's like a spinning thing,
Yeah.
You put the numbers together and then you try to pull a stick out.
Right. And so, And so, they have 3 minutes to do it, and they can decide whether to or not, because if they fail, they lose their vote in the next tribal.
Right.
So it goes to each of them. Bruce decides he's not doing it.
Right.
He says he's worked too hard to risk his vote currently. Drew says he debates it, but he wants to be a risk taker and make some kind of move, and he thinks he's comfortable in his foursome, so to pull that off. Brandon, knowing that he has yet to prove himself and is on the bottom and wants to play Survivor, he goes through with it too. So Bruce goes back, them to play. Mm-hmm. For a while, it seems like that they struggle a little bit, and then they just start getting match after match. They get their 3 numbers. Both of them struggle to, for a while, but Drew is able to pull out his thing and he gets the advantage. Brandon doesn't, and it turns out one of the numbers he had was incorrect anyway. It wasn't even that he took too long or didn't, sort them correctly. It was just he didn't even have one of the numbers he needed. So.
Which means he didn't match the tiles correctly.
Yeah, so he blew that, and then he loses his vote. So, and, he tried, and he's like, well, I'd rather have, I lost my vote, which is horrible, but I needed to, try.
Sure.
But Drew gets what advantage does he get?
He gets the safety without power.
Right, so that's where at Tribal, if you don't feel safe, you play that, you leave Tribal and go to camp. You can't be voted off, but you don't get to vote or hear what goes on.
Right.
We've seen this used before. I know Jeremy used this before to save his butt, and I think he was one of the options to be voted, and nobody knew he had it, so he just waited for everyone to come back. So one person gets an advantage, and one person loses their ability to vote.
Mm-hmm.
They go back. We don't even really see much of Bello. That Bruce doesn't really tell them what went down with him. Mm-hmm. We just see Brandon goes back, and he outright tells them the truth. He says, I tried it, I blew it, and I didn't, I lost my vote at the next tribal.
He tells them everything.
He tells them everything, which, hilariously enough, actually turns everyone against him for being so honest, because they go, that's another challenge he failed. Mm-hmm. And it's a puzzle, which he says he's really good at.
Right.
So that's 2 puzzles he's already blown. The one I find interesting is on Reba, when Drew goes back, he says, he debates, like, do I lie? Do I tell him the truth? And he decides to tell everybody the truth. He actually shows them his advantage, which, depending on how you look at it, could be really stupid or really smart. Typically, we're usually in agreement that you should never let anybody know what you got in your pocket.
Right.
But I think it's smart in this case because it's not like a hidden immunity idol where you find and nobody knows you have it and then you shouldn't tell them. It's he went so they know he could get something. So he shows up, says he won, and he says, I don't want this to be a me thing. I want this to be a tribe thing. So if someone's in trouble, we can save them. And that actually works to his benefit because Austin goes, wow, he's a loyal guy. So Austin tells Drew about his advantage that he's waiting on because he does find the right time to take the paper and find out where to look. He just doesn't, he hasn't been able to take that chance yet, but he tells Drew what he's thinking, which makes Drew feel better, and so they become more tight-knit and everything. He even says, you're like the JT to my Steven, the brawny nice guy and the brainy strategic guy. So,
right.
Which, hey, if they turn out to do well, I'd like that duo. So
Yeah, because those are the 2 from the 4 that we like of that alliances.
Temporary alliance anyway. Yeah.
So Okay, that's that challenge.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I guess it is kind of a challenge.
I mean,
where do you want to go next?
I just the immunity challenge, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
that we see a lot of camp life. A lot of it's like casual. We talked about like the important stuff. So we go to the next challenge. And of course it's like multi-stage for the three tribes where Jeff explains they have to like we've seen parts of this in different challenges and they kind of just splash it all into a big obstacle course. They like pick and choose parts, it seems. So it's where you climb up to a really tall like tower, you jump off and you smash one of the tiles and a key drops.
And this is in the water.
This is in the water, yes. You
Yeah.
gotta swim.
And it's immunity and reward.
Correct. Yes, for fishing gear. Yeah, the first tribe to finish gets a whole fishing kit. Second tribe gets like the goggles, fins, and the spear, and then the third tribe loses their flint again. So
Right.
and they go to they have to vote someone else. So yeah, you smash a tile, you get a key, then you got to cross over the balance beam, which is in the water, and then you get on your platform, and the next person goes. Once three people do that, the other two people solve a new, as Jeff says, survivor puzzle. I think they finally caught on to the fact that a lot of these people are like 3D printing puzzles or studying their old puzzles, so they need to stop recycling them as much. And this is although it looks similar to some, it's a new kind.
And it was big.
It was a big, complex one. And thank goodness you were allowed two people.
Mhm.
And of course, because they keep it even, two people have to sit out, or one person on the two fuller tribes need to sit out. Where Jeff says they finally changed a rule stating it used to be after every tribal that whoever sits out would reset. Jeff says that's not the case anymore. It's whoever sits out this time has to play next time.
Mhm.
And I actually read, this is a fun fact, in an Jeff was being interviewed about the rule change, and he's like, it used to work easily because we normally have two challenges, the reward challenge and the immunity challenge. So you'd pick, where do we want the weaker players, for the resources or for saving ourselves? Well, now they rarely do two full team challenges. You know, they have these excursions. And he says, previous season, this Claire, she sat out all three immunity challenges. So she never participated in a challenge. And she kept saying, well, I don't feel I'm the right fit. Well, then the one time they lose, her tribe unanimously votes her off, thinking she's just useless trying to get out of challenges and stuff.
Mhm.
So we never even got to see what she could be capable of.
Right.
Because she just kept sitting out willingly. So we changed it to where you have to start playing. So
And I agree with that.
I do too. You shouldn't get to
that's
sit
what
out
you're
all
there
the time.
for.
Yeah.
You know,
So and so the two try, I don't know who sits out. But,
Katura and Sifu.
okay, so
Sifu? Yeah.
they sit out. They go. They're all pretty even for the most part until they get down to the puzzle. I mean, we don't need to go through like all the. I know the one girl on Bello, I think Kelly, she slips and lands right on her tailbone. I know on that. I remember.
Beam?
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
balance. She was like the only person to fall off that too. I think a lot of people skated over that. So
And it was a 3-tier.
yeah,
It
you got
wasn't just one balance beam. It was you like went up and then down.
You got to step up and step down. Yeah, she took a hard hit and she looked a little, winded after that because of taking that hit. But they're all pretty even until they get to the puzzle. And Jeff even says it's a complete blowout again. I think it's Drew and Julie, actually, they do the puzzle versus Brando and Kelly.
But they were close.
Right, they were close. Right? Oh, maybe it wasn't Kelly who took that fall. Then it was someone else.
No, I think it was Kendra, actually.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Brandon and Sabaya are, of course, doing it for Yellow. And I mean, there's even a point where Brandon's like asking her, where does this go? And she's like snaps and says, don't ask me, just start figuring it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's a complete blowout. It's like, as soon as Reba wins, Bella wins like 10 seconds later or whatever. It was like a 1 or 2 piece difference.
Jeff was losing it. He couldn't believe how close it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he even told Lulu, he's like, just start thinking about who's going home instead of thinking about how to do the puzzle. So, and they were like baffled at how bad they were doing. And so, yeah, Reba gets all the fancy fishing equipment. Bello gets some, and they're safe as well. And of course, Lulu just has to go to tribal again. So,
Right.
I don't know what you thought of the challenge specifically.
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I had never seen a 3-tier beam before. I don't believe. Yeah, and it's when I watch those, in my younger days, maybe I would love to do something like that.
Mhm.
Now, not so much.
Not so much, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be, but yeah, Drew and Julie winning it. I mean, that's that mother-son duo.
She
like
says
she says he could be my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Brando and Kelly, yeah. And Brandon and Sabaya or Bia, whatever. I feel for him, but yet Brandon,
he's not a good player.
Well, I know, but I feel bad because he was so excited about doing Survivor, but yet he was so ill prepared for it.
He's not. He has like medical conditions that he has to take medicine for, and he can't take medicine for, so they act up. He is out of shape. He wears out super easily in these challenges. And now that he says, I'm a puzzle guy, that's 3 puzzles he's blown for his tribe.
Yeah.
So, and they even say that. They're like, you haven't proven anything to us. And, they sit down at camp, and him and Emily basically admit it's either me, him, her, or me kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's either one of the two of them. He can't vote, so it's up to the other 3. But what Emily doesn't even know is Sabaya can't vote either because she found one of those advantages. Or, well, technically Brandon found the Beware advantage, and ironically he tells her, I don't want to open it because I don't want to lose my vote. So he says, do you want it? She opens it, and so as long as she doesn't have the idol, she can't vote either. But then he goes and loses his vote in the risk-taking anyway. So
Yep.
So it's out of 5 people, only 3 can vote. And so the 3 of Caleb, Sabaya, and Sean, they go looking for the idol, following the clue that they have, and they eventually find it. It takes them a long time, but they're able to snack the
Sabaya. Oh yeah, that's right, in the tree.
Yeah. They knock the coconut down, and it is hers. They let her take it.
Right.
And it's in a little tiki statue made of wax, and you have to melt it like a candle to get it out, and they haven't had fire this entire game.
Right.
Because they don't have flint still, so they can't melt it. I think at one point even she's trying to like magnifying glass to burn it apart, and it's not happening. And so she doesn't really get a vote. Of course, she says, vote off Emily. We need to get rid of her. I don't like her. But Emily goes and gives her
shot in the dark.
Yeah, shot in the dark, where you can sacrifice your vote by cashing this in, and then you get a 1 in 6 chance of making yourself immune, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But but since she gave her that token, she's like, I don't think anyone else can play your own shot in the dark. Everyone only gets the 1, but if you don't have it, you can't use it. So she gives it to say, this is me trying to show I'm with you guys.
Yeah, to gain trust.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just basically this big back and forth between, do we keep the super loyal person who's horrible in challenges and will for sure be a liability, or do we keep the person that there's concern she might dump us first chance she gets, but can at least hold her own in these challenges? Like when they were swimming and jumping off and stuff, she was right along with everyone else. So, and they even tell Brand, they're like, we don't know what you're good at, and you keep telling us what you're good at, but you're not showing us anything. So, I mean, I've been seeing on Reddit, people are like, so is it official Brandon's the worst Survivor player of all time? Like, they're just, that might be a bit harsh. There's some people who make really stupid moves. He didn't make stupid moves. He's just not, like, capable, it seems.
Right.
And but it also seems like his social game is just, hey, I'm really nice and self, deprecating, but they also just kind of take pity on him and be like, poor guy, he really wants to be here and he can't pull it off. So it's like, is it strong social game, or does everyone just kind of feel sorry for him?
Yeah. Like I said, I feel sorry for him. I think he got in way over his head because of the excitement of being there.
Yeah.
And I get that, just, when he was so excited when he saw Jeff, I think about myself and how I would be like, just to be in the same presence of Jeff Probst.
Yeah. Well, and you're here for the game. It's starting. It's Jeff Probst. He's going to tell you to do a challenge, Yeah.
I don't think I'd cry.
No, I don't think I would
But it would be like, you're starstruck,
mm-hmm.
Especially if you've been watching it since I haven't been watching it since I was a kid, but I've been watching it all along.
Yeah, so. He's a celebrity, so people say it won't be the same when he quits it or whatever. So,
oh, no.
Yeah.
No, not at all. It'll be whoever, if and when somebody were to fill his shoes, it would not be the same.
A lot of people argue it should be like previous like contestants or whatever, like Cochran, who could, because he's very analytical. Some people say Boston Rob because he has the charisma, but they're like, some are like, I don't know how he'd be like introducing challenges and stuff because he's normally just witty and everything.
I think he'd be good. Yeah, I really do. would love to see that.
There's a few people.
I'd keep watching if it was Rob Mariano.
So would I. It'd be
Yeah.
fun to see him just as host at that point. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Getting back to this one.
yeah, this season, which isn't as fun. So yeah, the vote's kind of simple. It's one or the other. They're trying to decide. Caleb doesn't want to get rid of Emily because he has a rapport with her and he thinks she'll be more helpful. And she's telling him, I'm with you guys. I have to be. So
Mhm.
so they go back to tribal, and and Jeff asks them, well, even asks Emily like about like adapting and everything, and she's like, yeah, I want to be better and everything. And both her and Brandon are almost like defeated to an extent, and like, hey, I'm grateful to be here. It didn't go the way I wanted it to be. I hope it's not me, but I have to live with it, kind of thing. And that's the hard part with these early votes. It's normally just the people that aren't gonna make it anyway, or people don't like. It's not really all that strategical yet.
Yeah.
It's just this tribe going, who do we want to keep?
Yeah.
And so they end up voting. 2 people can't vote. So it comes down to 3 votes, and it's a 3-vote unanimous decision to vote off Brandon.
Right. Which I think is
The right
for their
choice.
tribe, the right choice.
Yeah, Emily's grateful to still be there. He hugs everybody. There's no hard feelings on his part. He even
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, his departure was something he couldn't wait for that torch to be snuffed to just have that experience.
I thought he might cry again out of but not out of sadness of being voted off, out of excitement, because he's like, wow, this is cool, you snuffing my torch. I'm like, you just lost, pal.
Yeah. You're gone. You can't play no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for him because it is they always say it's easier for the fans to sit there and just judge, but people also forget that these are everyday people trying to play this very difficult game. And you could be very physically strong or very smart and look very impressive. But I feel bad for guys like Brandon because, like, he is in over his head, but now the fan base might, at least some of the harsher people, might bash him for it and be like, why did they ever pick this guy when we could have got someone so much, like, better or whatever? But it's easy to say that, but then just any one of these other people who might seem better compared to him could just be voted off in his place or whatever,
Yes.
So should he have been there? You don't know. You can't say no one doesn't deserve to at least try. I still think he's more honorable than the girl who said on day one, I'm hungry and cold and I'm going to quit. Day one, to me, that more credit to him because he kept falling, he kept hurting, and he said, I still want to be here. So at least he was willing to persevere, even if he can't hold his own amongst everyone else. So
yes,
he went when he should, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the choice between him and Emily, okay, she started out rocky.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't crazy about her.
Right.
However, I believe when they're talking about voting and they're talking about getting rid of a strong person this early on, I think they're crazy.
Yeah.
Now, she held her own. She wasn't crying. She wasn't falling. She was good in the challenges.
Yeah.
You keep her for a while, and poor Brandon, put him out of his misery to some extent.
Yeah.
We don't want him getting any more hurt.
You're right. Yeah.
know.
The guy's already in trouble. The guy said he almost passed away after the first challenge. So
Yeah.
I don't like that he worded it that way, but
Right.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes home. So now Lulu is down to 4. They're arguably stronger 4, but I guess it begs the question because we see the previews for next episode and stuff. We didn't see. It's very quick. We don't see much. The only thing we see is apparently Drew is like searching for an idol or something, and then Dee says she feels betrayed already.
In the upcoming?
In the upcoming,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'm saying where we go from here because like one of the things is it's different when we have 2 tribes of 9 or 10. They can stay like that for a while before anything. When you have 3 tribes of 6 and one tribe is obviously just getting decimated, how far do the producers keep it going before they try and swap things around? Like this 4 is arguably stronger of Lulu than if they had Brandon or Hannah, especially Brandon, who are like liabilities and challenges.
Right.
But now does that mean 2 people on the other? So now 4 people are going to set out of the next challenge, or are they going to switch it up already? Because like you said, typically you don't want to get rid of the stronger people, but in this case, if the tribes are going to swap after 2 votes or something, possibly, because we're down to, I don't even know how many, 16 now. So They might go one more because then you could have 3 tribes of five or something. So maybe they'll go one more here. But I feel like if Lulu loses again, they're definitely swapping them around. So
Yeah, I think so too. But I still believe you never know when they're going to swap, if they're going to swap. So you keep your tribe strong.
Mm-hmm.
In the strength wise, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and also in the connections with the
Right.
people.
Yeah, if Emily made no attempt to mend herself, with them I could see her being why they'd consider getting rid of her, because at that point you'd rather just keep loyalty over someone you know is just going to drop you the first chance she gets. But because she put forth the effort, I think, and she handed over, her
Shot in the dark.
shot in the dark and everything, I think it's worth keeping her around, and hopefully she'll just continue to get better and closer with the rest of them. So
Yeah, I hope so too. I think if she does a full 360,
mm-hmm.
that they'll be a lot stronger for it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, at the very end here, I want to ask you, it's going to be easier said than done, but I want to ask you, who are your 3 picks to just take it all?
That I want or that I think are gonna?
Either. Maybe 1 or 2 of like both options. Like who do you think is like, who's your picks to win? Like that either you really want to or you really think they're
And I don't, not from each tribe, just 3 all together.
Yeah, they could all be on the same tribe if you like that many people on that one tribe.
Okay. Well, Caleb's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's strong. He's smart. Yeah, he's definitely one.
Okay.
I gotta say Austin. Him too. Strong, smart. Yeah. So he's my second. I'm gonna say Drew.
Okay.
The three young men here.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a lot from anybody else, or they haven't shown us a lot from anybody else.
Right.
Where I think they will go all the way.
Right.
So Drew, Austin, and Caleb.
Okay. Well, I don't want to copy you, but I kind of agree with you in general. I'll say, I definitely say Drew. Right now, he's my favorite in terms of he seems physically capable, he's a smart guy, and he's trying to be strategic. I'm entertained by him, and I think if whatever happens next episode doesn't completely ruin his game, which I hope not because I like him, then I'll say he has a good shot. I really like Caleb. The guy's, every episode, the guy just shows how, like, where his mind goes, and he seems quite strategic. So I'll match those 2. I'm also just gonna take my own shot in the dark, and I'm gonna say Katurah. Only because she's really the only one on Bella we're getting any insight on. And I like the fact, like, where everyone else is like, oh, Bruce is so great. And she's like, come on. Yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's playing all of you and you're not seeing it, And she's prepared to... It seems like she'll make moves if she has to. And so this is just me making a pick right now. So,
yeah.
And these 3 can change for us each episode of this podcast or not. We'll just kind of come in at the end and see, because if one of them gets booted or something, we'll have to change it anyway. But see if, like, how early on in this our picks wind up being the winner or something,
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that's pretty much it.
I think so.
It's weird with these 90-minute episodes. I still feel like I don't know a lot about a lot of these people because we just keep sticking with this one tribe. And I get it; they keep going to tribal, but give us more substance from these other people.
I definitely like to see camp life with all of them, a good amount, and yeah.
Really know who's who in the system. Like some of these people, I can't remember their names yet, which is rough. I'd have to have a picture of them all up just to know. So
yeah, well, because I take notes, I kind of. That has helped me with my older mind.
Oh, it helps me too, just looking at it, seeing what you wrote and everything. So, all right, well, I guess that's it for us. So thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.